Full Trello Project Management Tutorial 2023 for beginners. In this video, I'm going to be going in great detail when it comes to, talking about Trello. It's going to be pretty helpful and useful, so please do make sure to watch this video till the end. So, let's just get straight into it. So first of all, let's go ahead and discuss the pricings and plans for Trello. Now, the four different pricings and plans are, first of all, there's the free plan, okay? Now, in the free plan, obviously the money $0 for individuals or teams looking to organize any project, okay? And it's free for the whole team. Obviously, this is the fun thing and the good thing about Trello. Like, there's no trial or anything. It's like a proper full-fledged free plan. And in this free plan, as you can see, you get pretty good features like, for unlimited cards. Okay, cards are basically, the topics that you add in your board. Now, unlimited cards. Then you have up to 10 boards per workspace, unlimited power-ups per board. You have unlimited storage with like 10 megabytes per file, 250 workspace command runs per month, custom background and stickers, unlimited activity log, assignee and due dates, iOS and Android mobile apps, two-factor authentication, and much more features. Then obviously you have the standard plan, which is obviously the more basic plan, which goes a bit above the free plan for small teams that need to manage work and scale their collaborations. Now this is $5, and it basically has unlimited boards in it. You can choose to create as many boards as you can. As you can see, in free you can make up to 10 only. So unlimited boards can be done in standard with the advanced checklists, custom fields, unlimited storage with 250 megabytes per file, 1,000 workspace command runs per month, single board guests, and saved searches. Then there's the most popular one, which is like the most used, which is the premium version, which is $10, and it's for teams that need to track and visualize multiple projects in several ways, including boards, timelines, calendars, etc. And obviously the same features with like in the standard, plus this stuff, like all the different views like calendar, timeline, table, dashboard, and map. You have workspace views, table and calendar, unlimited workspace command runs, admin and security features, collection observers, all that stuff. And then obviously comes enterprise. This is obviously for like the big companies, and I'm going to stay out of this for now. But if you're like in a large scale company and you want to go ahead with this, you can. Okay, that totally depends on you. But yeah, now if like I were to get straight into the whole sign up process, for that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and click on get started over here. And once I do that, here it says sign up for an account. Okay, now I'm going to be using a temp mail. Okay, a temp mail is a temporary email, and I'm going to be using that to sign myself up with Trello. So let me just wait for my temp mail to load up, and I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it here. Now I'm using a temp mail obviously just because this for like the video purposes, and once I use the temp mail, from there on out what I'm going to do is obviously dispose it after this video. So it all depends on you whether you want to use a temp mail or not. You can just use your, main Google, Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, all that stuff, because that's just much, you can say, easier to use. Now, you're going to head over here. Welcome to Trello. Let's create your workspace, okay? Now, everyone and everything in one place, a space for teams to collaborate, organize, and share project boards. Name your workspace, project, or team name. Now, you could obviously name yourself anything. I'm going to name myself, John's Workspace. I'm going to name myself that. Who's on your team? Enter as many email addresses as you want. I'm going to keep this blank for now because we can just add this later, okay? Now, try Trello Premium for 30 days if you want to. And as I said, you can try the whole trial, built-in automations, unlimited power-ups, and all that stuff, but I'm going to skip this for now. Now, once you skip this, basically it brings you to your home dashboard. Now, in your home dashboard, obviously, you can see all the stuff going on over here, where, you see John's workspace. Boards are where work gets done in Trello. On a board, you can move cards between lists to key projects, and all that stuff. So if you were to, get a brief overview of the home dashboard here on the left hand side, you have all this stuff, with your settings, the members, you have different views and all that stuff. So if I were to go in settings, okay, here we are. And over here, you can, mess around with settings. Right now, as you can see, our workspace is private. And obviously, it's private because we don't have anyone in it. So to make it public, obviously, you're going to have to invite workspace members and then, create a link and stuff. That's what's going to make it public and all things. And if we go over here in workspaces, as you can see here, you can see all the different workspaces that you have in your, current email account. Now, once you've, discussed about, the workspaces that come, let's go ahead and discuss the boards. Now, the boards are basically where you're gonna, get the different topics in and stuff. So to create a board, you're gonna come to boards and click on create board. Once you click on create board, as you can see, it gives you a template over here. It asks you to choose a background for your board. I'm gonna choose this background. Or you can even choose more by clicking on these three buttons, and as you can see, you get all the stuff. Let's go ahead and choose that. Now, once you choose that, I'm gonna obviously need a board title. A board title should be, relevant more to the reason it was made. Like, let's say this board title was made for your company related to, coding or programming. So you could say this board is called programming board, maybe, something like that. So here we are. Programming, content planning, something like that. Call it that. Then you have visibility on workspace. All members on the John's workspace can see this, or you can make it totally private, or you can make it public, okay? That all depends on you, obviously. I'm going to keep it private for now. Now you get two options, okay? Start with a template or create. Now I'm going to just go ahead and click on create, and let's see what it does. Here we are. Now, as you can see, our board is created. So now that we've, discussed boards, let's go over to lists, okay? Let's go ahead and discuss lists. Now, this is, your board where you have, your to-do, doing, and done. Now, these are basically your lists in your boards, and you can move these lists around pretty easily, as you can see. So this is like the ease of use, and you can like change this. So let's say from to-dos, you want to change it to new ideas, call it that. In done, you can, implementations. Then you can, make a list over here like development. And then you can just add another list if you want to, like testing, stuff like that. Now, let's talk about the content that you want to add in your lists. Now that I have a list called new ideas, time to add content in it. So I'm going to click on add card, and I'm going to add a card. So let's say in new ideas, I'm going to write, let's say new HTML based app for 2023. Okay, there's a card. I just added a card into my lists. And as you can see, I can move it around pretty easily. So it's pretty simple to do this. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and discuss the workspace settings. So here we are in the workspace settings. You get all this stuff. And even in the workspace views, you get two views, the table view and the calendar view. Now this is like the Kanban view that you're in right now. So if we go on board over here and customize views, you can see you get all these different views, but to access them, you're going to upgrade workspace to premium, obviously. Without that, you cannot choose those views. Now, it's pretty, as you can see, not very difficult to, mess around with this stuff. And if you, let's say, want to star a board, just for your ease of access, you can just come over here and click on star. And once you do that, as you can see, this board is now starred. Now, if you want to, go more into the depth of the different colors and backgrounds that you can keep for your, board, you can come here and click on change background. And as you can see, you get all these settings that you can mess from with backgrounds, photos, colors. And then you also have custom fields that you can add along with stickers. Like let's say you can add this over here, as a GIF and stuff. And if I were to go on more, you get all the in-depth settings like, labels, collections, and all that stuff. This is the archived item section. This is where you're going to see, your archive stuff. So if I were to go on implementations and I'm going to click on archive this list, see what happens. If I go in archived items, switch to lists, look at that. The implementations is right here. And I'm just going to click on send to board and look at that. That's how easy it is. Then in the same place, as you can see, you have a link over here. Now this link is obviously the links to your Trello board. And you can obviously circulate it around accordingly if you want to, you could say tell other people about your board, or, just spread your board around, send it to your members, send it to your work colleagues and all that stuff. Now that we've, talked about that, there's another basic of Trello, and it's how quick you can add, your tasks and stuff. So, like, let's say you want to add a task in a speedrun. So, write something, add a task. And just click on enter, and as you can see, tasks will be added pretty quickly. So, let's say you have added a task, okay? Let's say you've added a task. Let's go, you're going to click on it. And now, you can basically choose the in-depth settings in this task. So, first of all, there's members. These are like obviously the members you're going to choose. This, what you see right now, is a mastering card. This is the in-depth details that you're going to mess around with for, the card that you're accessing. So this is, over here, as you can see, you can change the title name if you want to. This is the add members, okay? Add any member if you want to. It's like totally up on you. Then you have labels. Obviously, you can choose different labels for a different, you could say for different cards, you can choose different labels. Let's say this label means important, so you can call it important, click on save. So as you can see, this label means important, or you can also, choose the red one and call it urgent, and you get the point. So that's what labels are good for, and you can use them to, let your people know that this is, pretty necessary and you need to basically do this stuff pretty quickly. And then from there on out, you can basically add it pretty easily. Like click a task, click go on labels, and look at that. Just add it over there. So that's how simple it is. It's pretty easy. Then obviously you can also like filter things out accordingly. Like let's say you were to go over here and you want to filter all the urgent ones out. So you're going to go and filter, and you can obviously select a label, go on urgent, and look at that. It filters all the urgent ones out. So that's a pretty cool thing to have as well. Then you can also add checklists. So if you were to go here, title, checklist, I'm going to add that. Look at that. You have a proper checklist now, and you can start adding items. So you can start, maybe telling people what they're going to do. So you have the intro, you have the coding, you have understanding, implementation, development, and then testing. Okay, let's call it that. So these are basically your checklists. And a person, like when they're doing this task, they can one by one come here and, check these in that, yes, I'm done with this, I'm done with this, and, all that stuff. So once all of these are done, you can obviously come here and see that, okay, this person is done with these things. That's good. So that's like, again, one of the ways. So let's say you have a task over here and you want to mess around with it. You can right click on a card, and once you go over there, as you can see, you get like a quick menu opened over here. You can edit the labels, change members. You can also change the cover of this card. You can also archive it directly from here if you want to, as I told you earlier on. Now, let's say you have the checked one over here. You can hide the check item, show the check items for yourself if you want to. You can also add a new checklist if you want to. Again, totally depends on you. Then you come over to dates, okay? Now, in the date section, like let's head over here. In the date section basically is when you set the time limit for a certain, you could say, task on the card. So let's say this task for the new HTML-based app for 2023, let's say we want to set a time limit for it. We like, as I said, it's pretty important, it's pretty urgent, and we want it pretty quickly. So let's set a time range for it. So let's set it from 24th to the 30th. That's the time range. I'm going to click on save. And once you click on save, as you can see, April 30th is the last date. And it shows it over here. And that's like a pretty good thing about it. And also, you can like set the due time. The due date has been set, but you can also set like the exact time you want it. And once you like do that, you can click on save, and as you can see, you have a proper due date and time. Now, you can also show more labels by just clicking on this plus icon if you want to. As you can see, more labels can be shown accordingly. Now, one more thing, like let's say you want to give reference of a media to a task. So to do that, what you can do is you're going to come here, okay? And you're going to click on attachment. Now, if you go on attachment, as you can see, you can also paste any form of media into your Trello board to give your user a reference. So let's say if I were to go on computer, look at that. You can choose all these images from your computer and paste it onto your, Trello board. So let's go ahead with this. Let's just add this photo randomly. As you can see, it starts uploading your file. And once the file's uploaded, look at that. It adds that as a cover photo, and look at that, it's right there. And if a person clicks on it, look at that. In the attachments, they can see that as a cover photo. And you can also like paste it in the comments down here if you want to. So let's say if I were to copy its link address, you can just come down here and be like, paste it, and add a few spaces and be like, hey, I want you to design something that looks just like this. Okay, you're just gonna write that and click on save. Now, once you click on save, look at that. People are, gonna click on it, and look at that. This image is gonna open for them. So it's pretty easy to work around with this, and people, can add emojis to let you know that okay, we've seen your message, and it's all good. They can send you a thumbs up. And you can also like tag a person if you like want to, specifically tell someone and notify someone that you want their attention. You can click on at, put in their name. And once you do that, just write something, and that's going to add them. And basically, it's going to call them in that, hey, I'm letting you know that this job is pretty important for you. So please check this Trello board as quickly as you can. Also comes the move card where you can like move this into, different cards if you want to. So as you can see, I moved it to development, and it's right here. But you can like not do that. You can just do this for the moving. It's pretty simple. And obviously, if you open again, you can also copy a card, okay? And, implement it and paste it in some other place if you want to. The copy basically, copies the whole title with all the checklist, labels, attachments, comments, and then you can copy it to a different board, and you can also choose the list you want to copy it to. So let's say I'm going to go on create card. Look at that. It creates a copy of another card with all the same things, including, the checklist and everything. And that's the cool thing about this. Like, it's pretty cool. It works wonders. So yeah, it's pretty fun to do that, and it's a good thing to have by your side and work around with. Now, you can do more with the privileges you have on Trello, and we're going to be discussing all of that as well. So again, we've discussed about cards, we've discussed about lists, and how you're going to fill them in and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and discuss about the watch feature when it comes to actions. Now, the watch feature basically comes when your, let's say Trello card is fulfilled and done. And it basically comes by adding yourself some buttons or power-ups, okay? Now, the power-ups could be, anything for fun or anything that could be useful as well. And we're going to be discussing power-ups in like a few seconds. So basically, Trello power-ups can be pretty useful to you, okay? Trello power-ups have you could say, great deal of importance because they help you easily do things. They help you access things much easier when it comes to Trello. So let's say if I were to go on this task over here and click on power ups, you're going to be, redirected to power ups. Or you can just come here in the power ups section and look at this, bring additional features to your boards and integrate apps like Google Drive, Slack, and more. So we're going to click on add power ups. Okay. Now, once you click on add power ups, you're going to come over here. And as you can see, you can get all these power ups. If we go on made by Trello, you can get all these different power ups that Trello made themselves. So look at that. Calendar power up. Visualize Trello cards in a calendar view. Then you have GitHub. Attach branches, commits, issues, and pull requests to cards and see the status of pull requests on your boards. Then you have Google Chat, send Trello alerts to Google Chat conversations, access your Drive files for a project directly, all that stuff that goes on. Now, all these things that you see, basically power-ups can also be called integrations, okay? Now, if you don't know what integrations are basically when you could say, one app connects to another app to make it, easier to work around with. So that's what integrations do, and like in my opinion, using them wisely, along with your project management board could be, pretty useful. So just go ahead and, explore things out for yourself, see what works best for you, because when it comes to, again, as I said, using these power ups wisely, it makes life pretty easier for you, like pretty much easier for you. And the most widely used ones are like, voting, give power to the people and allow users to vote on cards. So as you can see, it has over 250,000 plus downloads, and people add these because, like, let's say if there's a task or a card and you want approval on that card, that, okay, should I go ahead with this card or should I not? Please give me your opinion. You can ask an opinion like that, and once you do, people are gonna send you out their opinions and be like, "Hey, boss, this we're not really sure about this," or they can, have a whole debate around each other. So it's a pretty good democracy system, and it's a good thing to add to your, you could say, cards, because it just keeps the workplace very professional. So again, if I were to go over here, I'm going to click on add power up. Okay. Now, once I click on add power up, we're going to come here. Now, remember where you saw it, go on made by Trello, come down here. Here you have voting. I'm going to click on add, go on settings. You're going to edit power up settings. Who is allowed to vote on the cards? You can choose whoever is. And once that is done, yeah, you're good to go. So you just added a power up to your card. Okay. Now, that is, how simple and easy it was to add a power up. Now, to basically do the voting on this power up, basically, again, you're going to make sure to set like the custom fields for yourself. So once like it's set for your team, like you've set your members, obviously, then there's like nothing you can do with it, because obviously you've set it for your members. It's only for your members. So just set the power up and move out of it. Now that we've discussed integrations, let's go ahead and discuss automations. Okay. Now, if you don't know what automations are, basically, automations are when there's like a trigger in a video, or a trigger that takes place, an action that takes place, and that triggers another action. Okay. That's what it basically means. So you could say, I've made a purchase on an online store. Now, once I've made the purchase, what's going to happen is I'm going to get an email in like 5 to 10 minutes that, hey, you made a purchase from our store. Can you confirm this order? That's automation. So basically, what happened was I did an action, which was purchasing something from an online store, and that was an action for me. The trigger was that triggered the email system to basically send me an email regarding the order. So that's basically what automation is, and that is what we're going to be setting up for our Trello, because it is equally necessary when it comes to, having a successful and working project management board. So we're going to go on automation over here again. Now, to basically work with automation, you're going to have to confirm your email address. So I'm just going to go ahead and verify my Trello. Okay. So verifying your Trello is pretty easy. Just check your email. It's going to say, verify your email and stuff. And once you've done that, just choose your full name. Okay. Once you do that, create a strong password for yourself. And once you're, fully done with this, you're going to easily be able to use, your automations and just, make life easier for yourself. So once you're done with this, verify yourself. And yeah, here we are. So we've authorized ourselves, we've logged in, and I'm just going to come here. I'm going to reload the page. And as you can see, we have been authorized and verified. Now, as you can see, we can access automations. Now, once automations are, easily accessible, here you can see automations have different things around it. So first of all, you have rules. You can create rules that automatically respond to actions, schedules, or cards due date. Then you have buttons where you can create custom buttons on the back of every card or at the top of the board. Then you have email reports where you can set up email reports such as a weekly summary of all the cards that are due within 7 days. And then you can, do a send feedback where you can help them improve their automation. All these features obviously have their own, you could say, taste. So I'm going to go on rules. Okay. And once you go on rules, as you can see over here, they're going to give you all of this. So turn your Trello board into an automation machine. Create rules to have automation automatically react to your actions on a board. Take productivity to the next level with simple when this, do that format. Here are some examples. When a card is created in list to do by me, add the steps checklist. When a card is moved to list done by anyone, mark the due date as complete and remove all members from the card. When I am added to a card, set the due date in 5 working days and post a comment saying I got this. So you get the point. You get what, your automations are basically going to do. So once we're here, I'm going to go ahead and click on create rule. And once you do that, here, obviously, it's going to give you all this stuff. So first of all, you're going to have to add a trigger. So once you click on add a trigger, choose a trigger. So the trigger could be card move, card changes, dates, checklists, card content, fields. And once you do that, let's say it's dates, okay? Or card content. So when the name of a card starts with, dash, you can enter this as a part of the text to match any sequence of the characters. And once you choose this trigger, then you're going to basically add the action that is going to, happen after this trigger. So you get the point. It's pretty easy and basic stuff to, get your head around. Like, not too complicated, not too difficult. So as you can see, pretty simple. Now, let's go ahead with card move. So when a card added to board by me, okay, or when a card is added to the list name, choose any random list name. Let's go development by me. When a card archived by me, when a list is created by me, all that stuff. So I'm gonna go with this one. So that's my, you could say, trigger. Now the action that's gonna happen is, let's say, members. So you could say this add member dash to that card, or add some other thing to the card depending on, or you can also keep this. So when I like add a card to the list development, move the card at the top of the list to implementation. So let's say I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna click on saved and let's see what it does. Okay, so I'm gonna come here. First of all, yeah, let me show you the vote section. So this is voting. Obviously, this is the power up that I told you I would add. So that's the voting section. And again, mess around with it as much as you want. Now, remember, I'm going to add something and it's going to add this into implementation. So look at that. I'm going to click on enter and let's just wait for it. And look at that. It adds it immediately into implementations. How cool is that? And obviously there's more button automations in Trello as well, and obviously they're extremely useful things to mess around with. So basically, to create a button automation for yourself, you could just, go in settings, or you could choose the butler. And to choose that, obviously go to automations, go on buttons over here, and once you're in buttons, you can get this stuff accordingly. So Trello cards your way. Create custom buttons that appear on the back of every card. Perform the actions you do most often with just one click. Here are some examples. Assign me, join the card, add the yellow in progress label, and add an empty checklist name to do the card. Completed, move the card to the list done and remove the card's due date. Send to a reviewer, add member John Smith to the card, set the field stage to in review, and post a comment that says ready for review. So these are basically your card buttons. So I'm going to go and click on create custom button. And here we are. So first of all, there's the icon. Now in the icon, let's say I'm going to choose this lightning icon and I'm going to call the button name, let's say send to implement. I'm going to call it that. You're going to choose enable by default if you want to. Now let's go ahead and choose an action. So I'm going to choose on move, top of the list to obviously implementation. That's our action. And, just choose that. And once you choose that, you're basically going to be good to go. So as you can see, moving the card to implementations and all that stuff, you can also do multiple stuff. So move the card to the top of the list if you want to, all that stuff. And you can choose different actions if you want to from, you also have Jira, Bitbucket, Slack, dates, checklist members, content, all that stuff. So you can accordingly add, all that. So once you have added all these actions accordingly, if you wanted to, you're going to double check them. You're going to check that they work well with each other because we don't want overloading. And once you do that, you're going to click on save. So as you can see, send to implementation, move the card to the top of the list implementation, and move the card to the top of the list. Once you do that, you can also choose this, which will enable this on all boards on this workspace. And once you do that, we're going to do this. And let's say I am going to move this over here, or maybe, move it. Look at that. It's going to move it to implementation. So I'm going to move this over here and I'm just going to wait for it. So like obviously it doesn't move it to implementation and new ideas, but if you move it on development, just wait for it. Look at that, back to implementation. So you can't move anything out of implementation. It's obviously eventually just going to move it back to implementation from development. Now, once that is done, let's go ahead and obviously I discussed the importance of filters in the start of the video, but again, filters are one of the most necessary and important things when it comes to Trello because they allow you to basically have a much easier look towards the board because they help you get around the board pretty easily. So if you were to click F on your board, you see it's a pretty good quick shortcut. And as you can see, you can choose the cards assigned to you, choose it for no members. You can also choose the due date. So let's say this due date is, overdue, due in the next day, all that stuff. Choose the labels that you want to go with, exact match if there is any, all that stuff. So again, pretty useful thing to have in your board, and it's a good thing to just, know how to use, to be just pretty familiar with. Familiarize yourself with all these features that I showed you, and yeah, you're going to be good to go. Now, this is obviously for your work management. You can also create a board for, let's say, like for your personal boards, okay? So let's say I'm going to go on boards over here, and I'm going to create a new board for myself. So let's say I'm going to create a new board, and I'm going to choose like a random background, and I'm going to call this my goals. I'm going to call this board my goals, and once you do that, you're going to click on create. And once you click on create, we're going to come here. So as you can see, we have all this. So first of all, let's choose the list. So let's say first goal, or you could say starting goals. Okay, starting goals. And obviously choose them accordingly. Secondary goals, middle goals, and accordingly just choose as many, and then ending goals and all that stuff. And obviously over here, you can add in your goals accordingly. You can also choose days for different, goals that you want to add. And obviously this is for your personal stuff. So in over here, you can add a card for, let's say starting goals could be doing gym, doing exercise, losing weight, starting a diet. And you could add different back burners if you want to. Or it could be, maybe you're writing a book and you want to complete that, all that stuff. Again, a lot of things that you can, get behind and all that stuff. And this is basically your goals that you can mess around with. You can also use Trello to plan your day if you want to, okay? So to use Trello to plan your day, basically, again, same thing, just choose Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then, make a single card for the weekend. And then accordingly, put in tasks if you want to. And once you put in tasks, keep, times for that task. So let's say on Monday, or like let's say on the morning routine, we're supposed to drink half a gallon of water, eat breakfast, shower, work out. And once we have done all that, then comes, task 2 in the Monday routine. On Monday, change of clothes, put on cologne, look good and professional, go for work. Then obviously talk to your boss about some, important thing, for example. So basically, you're going to set these tasks for yourself just so you can, make your life easier for yourself. And Trello is one of those softwares that you can use to just have ease of use. And you can like use Trello as a proper roadmap for yourself. If you don't know, what roadmap is, basically a whole map of your journey that you're going to be doing in, like, a certain time period. So that is a proper roadmap. And again, you can use that as a roadmap. It could be, a software service roadmap, hardware service. It could be any type of service roadmap. It could be a roadmap for yourself, maybe your mental health, physical health, all that stuff. So yeah. And once you've, done a roadmap for yourself, also there's the map view, okay? Now, the map view basically comes in, like, obviously in like the different views. So you're going to come to board, and over here you have map view. Obviously, again, we can't use it because we're not on like the premium plan, but once you're in the premium plan, you should use and check out the map view because it's pretty useful when it comes to working with Trello, and it gives you a great look on how things actually are. It's going to give you a whole map view of like where your work consists and all that stuff. So it's pretty useful, and I recommend that you use it as well. Then obviously there's the timeline view, which is going to give you the time period of tasks and all that stuff accordingly. You have the calendar view, which is going to give you, again, the roadmap on a calendar. And yeah, that's basically about all there is to it when it comes to discussing Trello. Now, if you enjoyed that video, please make sure to drop down a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, that was basically an A to Z guide for the Trello app. Okay, it was a full tutorial, and I hope you beginners learned a good detail of actions and features when it comes to Trello. Now, again, thank you for watching. Drop down a like, subscribe to the channel, share this video around as much as you can. Drop a nice comment if you watched it till the end. Yeah, that's about it. That's all from me. I hope you all keep having a great day. Goodbye.